I'm now going to show you a few different ways of pulling tarot cards. You always want to start by cleansing space and shuffling your deck, and then you can choose from any of these techniques. The first one is cutting or splitting the deck. So for example, after shuffling, I might split my deck into piles of 3. Maybe I want to do piles of 2, piles of 5, whatever feels right to you. And then you want to decide if you're going to pull the top card or the bottom card from that deck. Whichever feels right to you. There is no right or wrong. These would be the cards for the intention that you set. The next way of pulling tarot cards is the tell me when to stop method. So tell me when to stop is when you would ask somebody or yourself to shuffle, and then they tell you when to stop. So I'm going to pretend that I'm shuffling, and then you as the client says stop. I'm going to ask you then, okay, top or bottom? You say top, we pull that one. You say bottom, we pull that one. These are going to be the cards. If you're shuffling and you're using this method, you might have them have you stop in the middle of a shuffle. So tell me when to stop. Stop. Okay, is it this card under there, or this card? So you're going to give them some options, and they may say it's all 3. So if they do, you pull the card from the top here, the bottom there, and the top there. Otherwise, only pull the cards that are calling for them. Now, the next method is the 1-card mantra pull. You can either do that by splitting the deck, tell me when to stop, or you can do a rainbow. This is my personal way of pulling cards. I always start with a rainbow. So I shuffle, spread them out, and then I hover my hand pulling the card. I feel the pull here. I'm going to pull this card out. King of Wands. So King of Wands, I know that the King of Wands is about mastery, groundedness. So by understanding the definition of this card, I create a mantra around it. So I am the master of my own life, or I am safe to ground my energy and be still, or I know how to move slow and steady and with purpose. So the mantra can really be anything. It's more about receiving that mantra from the guidance of the cards. This is a really beautiful way to close out sessions. So at the end of a reading, maybe asking yourself or your client, would you like to pull a mantra card? This is really great for focus moving forward, words that you can repeat to yourself as you continue on. The next that we are going to talk about is organized shapes. Now, this is a very old-fashioned way of pulling tarot. I personally don't ever pull tarot cards this way, but after you shuffle, you're going to follow organized shapes. To be quite honest, the only one that I know is the Celtic cross. It looks something like this. This is not accurate, but if you are interested in working with the traditional organized shapes, please go to the internet or a tarot book to find them. It would look something like this. They all have a different order and a different way of pulling cards, but it is very, very specific. Again, this is not something that I practice or teach, but you can always Google that if you are interested. Somewhat along with organized shapes is tarot layouts. Now, this falls hand in hand with the tree pull example that is in your workbook, and this goes along with setting an intention for each card in the order that it's picked, and then making some form of a shape. You don't necessarily have to follow that shape, but what you'll find is that these layouts look like organized shapes because of the order in which you pull the cards. So we're going to do the tree pull example from your workbook. So first, again, we would shuffle the cards. For me, I like to then do the rainbow, so spreading them out. The first card you would pull is your current energy. The second card you would pull is how to enhance that energy. Third card What might be holding you back at this time? And then, excuse me if these are flipped. I'm working upside down, so thank you for your grace. But you understand, you'll follow the numbers, third card, and then you'll pull guidance for each of these cards. So what do I need to know here? Maybe you want to pull two. Even if there's only one card that's laid out, maybe if you touch two, or actually I have three there, these are going to be the guidance cards. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to do the same for this card. Pull the guidance card. 2 cards this time. 1, 2. So you can see how this looks quite organized, but in fact, we are just following the layout. Now, this is the tree pull example. To make it look like what is in your workbook, I'm just going to remove those cards. And so maybe if you were to only have pulled one card, then this is exactly what it would look like, which is reflected in your workbook. Again, this is a layout. This one particularly is the tree pull, but for additional intentions, you can always go on Google or look in the beginning of the Four Noble Tarot guidebook if that is something that you have. Now, lastly, I'm going to show you how I pull tarot cards. This is what I call the intuitive rainbow, and this is truly where we shuffle the cards, spread them out, and then just choose the cards that are calling for us based on the intention. You'll see a little bit more of this later, but I'll show you briefly now. So, shuffle the cards, spread them out, and then I just sit, okay, what do I need to know right now? Spiritual team, what do you want to tell me? Hover my hand. I'm going to pull 2 cards there. Oh, 3 cards came out, but I actually don't really want this one. So I'm going to put, and I don't want this one. I'm going to put those back. I just want these 2. So then I might read these first. Okay, I have the 5 of Swords and then the 2 of Swords. Interesting, that one came up again, even though this is a completely different spread. Then this is what I need to know. Maybe now my question is completely different. How can I attract more abundance? Okay, and then from here, what is my action step in attracting abundance? Now, these questions and intentions, they're not following any format. They're just truly what's coming up in my head. If I could ask the universe a question, this is how I'm pulling tarot cards. Maybe now I'm complete here and I want to shift over to my family. How can I best support my family? Pulling this card. Or I'm feeling really lost in my friendships. What do I need to know? Pulling this card, right? So you can see there really is no rhyme or reason. I'm quite literally just asking the cards the questions that I want the answers to and pulling as many as feels right to me. So I encourage you to practice with all these different ways of pulling tarot cards. Remember that your intuition will guide you. If there is a way of pulling tarot cards that I have not explained, please continue to work with it. That is just the way the cards want to work with you, and always trust your intuition.